All right, let's get into it. Today, we're tackling an absolute beast of a book on personal change, Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within. We're going to break down its core philosophy to really figure out what makes us tick. Robbins kicks off his book with this quote, and honestly, it's the perfect place for us to start. This one line sums up the huge idea we're about to unpack, that we're not just passengers in our own lives. No, we're the ones in the driver's seat. So if our circumstances don't define who we are, what does? If we're really the creators of our own reality, what's the tool we're supposed to use to build it? Well, according to Robbins, the answer is a lot simpler and way more powerful than you might think. You see, he argues that destiny isn't some big, vague idea that happens to us. It's something that's forged in specific, single moments. It all boils down to the incredible power of just one life-altering decision. A real decision, the way Robbins sees it, is the moment you completely cut off any other possibility. It's what he calls a congruent decision, which just means it lines up perfectly with who you are and what you believe in. Think about someone like Mahatma Gandhi. His decision to free India from British rule wasn't just a casual thought. It was a total commitment that came from his very core. That one single moment kicked off a chain reaction that literally changed the course of history. That's the kind of force we're talking about here. But what is it that pushes us to make these huge decisions in the first place? I mean, if decisions are the tool, what's the engine? Well, Robbins says that all human behavior, every single thing we do, is powered by two very simple, very primal forces. And here it is. This is the master principle. Every second of the day, your brain is quietly asking itself two little questions. Is this going to lead to pain, or is it going to lead to pleasure? And okay, what do I have to do right now to get away from the pain and move toward the pleasure? How you answer those questions determines every choice you make. And you can see these forces playing out everywhere, even on a massive scale. Banks, terrified by the pain of losing out on profits, lowered their lending standards, which led to a huge financial crisis. On the flip side, General Motors wanted customers to link the pleasure of an easy purchase with their cars, so they built a whole company just for financing. Two totally different outcomes, but both are driven by the exact same principle, shaping our economy and our personal habits. So, knowing about this principle is one thing, right? But actually mastering it is something else entirely. If pain and pleasure are the engine, how do we get our hands on the steering wheel? Robbins shows us that we can actually learn to direct these forces instead of just being pushed around by them. So, Robbins gives us three main controls for our mind. First, the incredible power of our decisions, which we've already seen can change everything. Second, the framework of our beliefs, which basically act like a map telling us what we think will lead to pain or pleasure. And third, what we choose to focus on from one moment to the next. Now, here's a really cool, practical way to control your focus. It's something Robbins calls transformational vocabulary. The words you use aren't just describing how you feel, they are literally creating your emotional state. So by making a conscious choice to change your language, saying you're just a bit peeved instead of furious, you can instantly dial down the emotional heat and take back control. Okay, so you've made a decision, you get what's driving you, and you're learning how to direct your own mind. But how do you make sure that one moment of change turns into a lifetime of success? What's the long-term game plan that keeps that engine running smoothly? 1%. That's it. It doesn't really sound like a lot, does it? But what kind of a difference could a tiny 1% improvement actually make if you just did it over and over and over again? Well, the legendary basketball coach Pat Riley put this idea to the test with his championship LA Lakers team. He challenged every single player to improve by just 1% in 5 key areas of their game. The result? It was incredible. The combined effect was huge. Most guys improved by anywhere from 5 to 50%, and they absolutely dominated the league that year. This is the power of what Robbins calls canny, constant and never-ending improvement. And all of this brings us to the most important point of all. Robbins is basically saying that your destiny isn't some far-off thing you have to wait for. The power to make a new decision, to shift your focus, to use pain and pleasure to your advantage, and to commit to that tiny 1% improvement, all of that power is available to you right now, in this very moment. So that leaves us with one final big question. Because this isn't really about just understanding a philosophy, it's about using it. So think about your own life. What's the one new, congruent, and committed decision you're going to make today to awaken the giant within you?